Wow, congratulations! You just won a lifetime supply of the best breakfast show on television.
Lifetime. Now that's a commitment.
Yes.
You ready to fulfill that commitment?
I'll do what I can.
All right, that's it. We will do all we can to ensure that you have a wonderful weekday morning every single day. Good morning. Welcome. It's Wake Up Nigeria.
Another breathtaking Thursday edition is about to kick off. One of our most anticipated episodes because Thursdays are always so beautiful. It's all about art,
color,
and everything to do with being artsy.
And all of that. That's it. That's what we do. Of course, there's also tech. Don't miss that one. But hey, come on. We're going to have a wonderful show. 1 hour, 45 minutes is the time that we have to spend with you this morning.
Yeah.
Grab a cup of coffee, juice, whatever you want. We will make this worth your while. My name is Mike.
And I'm Titilayo Oniso. Did you know you could stream this show live? TVCentertainment.tv is the website you need. You can also hit us up on Facebook at TVC Connect. And guess what? We're also on GOTV channel 27 and on UHF channel 49.
That's terrestrial TV. Of course, you can also stream via the app and online at tvcentertainment.tv. Let's get straight to what we have for you this morning.
Art comes alive on Thursdays. Really great because we're also very colorful with what we're wearing. But Julius Agbaje, a visual artist, is going to be here with an art exhibition, a mini one, an attempt to recreate or rather create engaging conversations. Julius infuses elements of humor as well as symbolic references as metaphors for his audiences. All right then, so some news came forward. Good news came forward saying that Cynthia Okereke and Clemson Cornell have been released. If you're not aware who we're talking about, Nollywood actors who were apparently kidnapped, was it last week or the week before? We saw a message saying that they're home with their families and they're well and unharmed. It's very, very good news, and we're grateful to God for that.
Yes, we are. And, you know, the president of Actors Guild, Emeka last mentioned, spoke about it while, you know, when the families were contacted and all of that, and spoke about the process, how it was going on. And then at the end, he said something for practitioners. Be careful. If you're going to shoot on the outskirts of any town, ensure that you have adequate security. Just be careful. Be careful. And I think that's a watchword for everyone in these times. You know,
I've actually been invited to many different types of sets before, and it's always been a concern for me. Whenever production is going on, you know, the production teams plan locations and where you're all going to stay. And if I start feeling any kind of way about the environment.
The environment, yeah.
I always speak up, and it's actually made me turn down some work.
Some works. Yeah, it's
just something.
For one reason or the other, you'd have to, you know, when it comes to production, people are thinking about cost. It's easier most times to, you know, camp people on the outskirts of whatever place. You know, it might be harder. And then, of course, you have, if for instance, if it's an epic movie, epic in the sense of, you know, a kind of epic where you have to maybe use surrounding bushes, forest, and all of that, you might want to do something. If it's not something that is centered on the cosmopolitan lifestyle. So basically, you know, but what they're saying is that, look, hey, the key word is ensure that wherever you are, there's always that thing. And like you, if someone sees something that you're not very okay with, you can just opt out. Speak
up and opt out. Really,
you can just opt out.
Security is now our responsibility, in quotes.
It is. It's something that we do have to, you know, take care, ensure that when you're driving, you know, I wanted to, generally, when you're looking at security, a few tips that you can. I've always said this at different times, and I'll never stop saying it. Social media, be careful, the kind of, your house. You might want to take an, you know, something very innocent. I just want to stay in front of my house and snap a picture of my gate. But then your gate has the number on it.
Or the street name.
The street name or something. You're posting your kids with their school uniforms.
No, it's never a good idea.
And, you know, be careful, everybody knows that your son, I go to Okpokiti Boys Junior and Girls Senior Grammar School in Ajagbadi or wherever. You know, my point is you do be careful as much as you can.
So at this point, not to freak you out, we just wanted to give you some information there. As always, we have some more information for you with regards how the weather's going to go.
Thank you for joining us here on the news on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Kelly Giga. Let's get things started with security stories. In the country where the activities of terrorists in the past few weeks have made many Nigerians to be living in fear of the unknown. And the question on the lips of many Nigerians is just when will insecurity in the country end? And as the search for the answer to that question continues across the country, the leadership of the Senate on Wednesday held a closed-door session with heads of security agencies over the disturbing trend of insecurity in the country. Now, during the meeting, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, described the situation as frightening, stating that a lot more needs to be done. He said the worrying situation has caused a sharp decline in the economy as the country is unable to attract foreign direct investment, and the oil sector is failing due to oil theft. In his response, the Chief of Defense Staff, Lucky Rabo, said issues of security must be seen from a collective perspective as the military remains committed to finding a lasting solution. He insists a lot has already been done to ensure they improve on the security architecture of the country, and no stone will be left unturned in ensuring the safety of lives and properties. Meanwhile, security agencies in the Federal Capital Territory will soon get new operational vehicles, gadgets, security accessories, and equipment to enhance their duty of keeping Nigerians safe and secure the country's capital. This week's Federal Executive Council meeting, chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari, approved these procurements for security agencies and a memo that will make Nigeria the maritime hub of West and Central Africa. A TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde was there and tells us more.
The decision of the Federal Executive Council to approve the procurement of operational vehicles, equipment and communication gadgets for security agencies in the FCT will no doubt complement ongoing efforts to repel the advancement of armed groups, terrorists and bandits into the capital city. But the Minister of FCT says this is just part of periodic support to security agencies and insists there is no cause to panic, as security operatives are working round the clock to keep citizens safe.
A few days ago in this very hall, the relevant security agencies gave you a very comprehensive briefing of all the issues. But what I can just add here is that there is tremendous effort by all to make sure that Abuja continues to be a safe haven for all of us.
For the Ministry of Transport, a memo was approved for a public-private partnership arrangement for the development of the Badagry Deep Sea Port. The port will be concessioned for a period of 45 years.
At the end of the concessionary period, the port reverts to the federal government of Nigeria through the Nigerian Ports Authority. The project cost, as contained and approved in Council based on the final business case as approved by the ICRC in line with extant laws, stood at $2.59 billion.
Council also approved a policy memo that defines the framework for the institutionalization of the practice of monitoring and evaluation. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says this will improve the well-being of citizens and promote good governance.
The policy defines a framework for the institutionalization of the practice of M&E to promote good governance, learning and accountability for results that will contribute to improve socio-economic development of the country and enhance the well-being of citizens.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo virtually attended this week's Federal Executive Council meeting for the first time after undergoing a surgical operation at a private hospital in Lagos. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
And tracking stories outside Nigeria, China is planning to step up large-scale military drills around Taiwan, which began as U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi flew into Taipei for a visit that has angered Beijing. The 6 days of military exercises featuring J-20 stealth fighter jets and test firing of conventional missiles began on Tuesday night after Ms. Pelosi landed on the island. Taiwan says the drills violated United Nations rules, invaded its territorial space and amounted to a blockade of its air and sea. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, meanwhile, has commended Taiwan for being one of the freest societies in the world. She addressed the self-ruled island's parliament during her visit. Ms. Pelosi also met with Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen in the capital, Taipei. Nancy Pelosi, the third highest ranking official in the U.S. government, visited Taiwan as part of a 5-leg Asia tour that includes Japan, South Korea, Singapore, and Malaysia.
Top of the morning, it's time to take a look at the headlines in the dailies this morning. We'll kick off from the Daily Independent. And we have here, PDP raises a committee to reconcile Wike, Atiku, and warring factions. That's what we have here. The annotations underneath that headline go on to say, "As Ayu must go, demonstration rocks Secretariat." The second annotation says, protesters say he can't lead party to victory. We also see here, just beside that picture story, 2023, INEC will apply the law without fear or favor. That's from Yakubu. Terrorists have infiltrated Lagos, can strike any time. That is from Gani Adams. The rider underneath says, Amotekun outfit needs more personnel and equipment. That's on page 7 of the paper. Bandits force NRC to suspend Lagos, Abuja, Kano train services. And military implementing new strategies to end insecurity. That is from Irabo. And you can see there, FG justifies procurement of 1.145 billion vehicles for Niger Republic. The rider assures 2023 election will hold despite security threats. Right there at the bottom, yeah, we have gunmen ambush police AIG Madaki and kill his orderly. And the picture story is that of Mohamed Bazoum, President, Republic of Niger, Aliko Dangote, President, CE of course, Dangote Industries, and of course, Mohamed Tadaru Abubakar, Governor of Jigawa State, during the award of Order du Mérite du Niger Opérateur Économique. El Philanthropy. Thank you so much. I was my director with that last one. All of that on the front page of the Daily Independent. And then from there, we'll move on to The Guardian. Conscience nurtured by truth. That's the motto there. Funding insecurity stall $2.8 billion AKK project gas export. The riders underneath go on to say stakeholders consider options for gas export amid Russia-Ukraine war, divestment dwindling upstream investment, cloud gas export potential. Above that particular headline, government concessions Badagry deep sea port at $2.5 billion. FG defends 1.145 billion vehicles purchased for Niger Republic. That's quite an interesting one. I know people have different takes on that one. And, all of that will be on the front page of The Guardian. Do we have time for any other one? Just the Punch, but hey, come on. That's all that the time that we have can take. Let's head over to the gym for fitness. All right, welcome back. Quite an interesting topic that we have this morning. Let's get straight to it. A media personality, I guess that is that covers everyone. Put up this tweet: when a woman genuinely loves you, even if you are poor, a billionaire can't take her away from you.
Oh, very romantic.
When a woman genuinely loves you, there's a lot about this thing.
Yeah.
Genuine.
Yeah.
Love, both of them are relative. Even if you are poor, a billionaire in what? A billionaire in kobo, a billionaire in cents, a billionaire in naira, a billionaire in dollars, can't take her away from you. And in number of jokes.
Yeah.
Everybody goes like, hey, you are not serious. I have some few takes, hot takes. My producer had something to say, but Titi defers or Titi agrees with this. You do?
So not a lot of people say it because in the end it makes them seem naive or, you know, a little slow. That's the word I'll use. But in truth, if you really, really love someone, no matter how much money is thrown at you, your mind will still be with the other person. No, your mind will be with the other person. there is that mindset. Yes, if it is true love. But the truth is, in the end, the realities of life always catch up with people. And all that naivete, all that ignorance of, okay, these are the things I need versus the things I really want, they'll come straight at you.
But have we thought about it? What if the woman is a billionaire? If she's a billionaire, probably the man's money doesn't count.
Are you sure about this?
Probably. I mean, if she has all she needs.
Are you saying that?
If she has all she needs, maybe this might work. If she has all she needs, and then, you know, another guy who's there, who she loves, and she can take up the person, it doesn't really matter. But if the woman is not that, more you're on a long thing.
How? How do you
You're on
mean?
a long
How
thing.
do you
Because,
Explain.
I mean, for crying out loud, you just mentioned it. There's needs, there's wants. Love with a romance without finance is frustration.
That's a song. Do you remember that song?
Romance without finance.
No romance without finance.
It is hard in this day and age. And we know that when it comes to relationships and all of that, relationships including marriages, money is a major factor.
We all have different love languages, first off. Yes, there are things that will get you. I mean, so for example, if you're in a relationship with Mike, I mean, you're married, of course, and Mike caters to your love language, it's natural that your emotions would be, you know, swooned towards him. So, for example, if your love language gifts, which gifts one of the love languages, you'd be naturally swooned to, you know,
to go towards someone with money.
To go towards someone with the money. But then again, what sustains a relationship? What sustains a marriage? Because sometimes we even ask ourselves these questions, even we that are married people, is love ever enough? Does love sustain a relationship?
But does money do it? So
Now,
there's
that's
so
another
many
question.
billionaire couples that are unhappy, that are getting divorces. If Bill Gates
and
Melinda
Amazon,
Gates,
Steve Jobs,
if they could get divorced with all the money in the world, like literally all the money in the world.
You see, the older we get, or the older I get, I've come to understand that no matter how much you think you know, the more you know, the more you find out you don't know. Because, look, you pick up something, you might just be 1 out of a billion. Something happens to you and then you feel, oh, this is this because I have experienced it. No. So in this one, it depends on the woman that you meet. We've seen women that, I mean...
Didn't we hear Jeff Bezos' wife?
Oh, Jeff Bezos,
Jeff Bezos' wife. Didn't we hear that she went to go and stay in a country ranch with an average school teacher?
Yeah.
She has all the money. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, when the woman does have the money, yes. But then, no matter your love language, there's something why the reason is that at the basest level of humanity, when you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food is number one. Before you even talk about, or cater. Let me also say food, catering to needs. So what I'm saying is that no matter what love language is, somebody has to cater for.
Mike, I want you to get out of that mindset.
At the basic,
because there's going to be a babe that is going to come your way and she will love you no matter how many.
Now, I think another question you even need to ask yourself.
No, really, I feel like you've boxed yourself a little, because there's one babe that's going to come and show you she loves you, and you'll be asking yourself why. Does she love me?
You box the me.
Don't be asking the why. Just ask how you can make her own life better.
I think what we should take away from this is what really sustains a relationship. Is it love or is it money? We're asking you these questions. Of course, you can, send in those comments on all our social media platforms at TVC Connect. You have to go on a quick break now, people. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And we are back. Thanks for staying with us. You're still tuned in to Wake Up Nigeria. And it's time for our arts segment. Yes, we have Julius Agbaje with us. He's a visual artist, and he creates an attempt to engage conversations with his artwork. He infuses elements of humor as well as symbolic references as metaphors to reel in his audience while addressing issues which he finds interesting or important. And, of course, we have Julius Agbaje with us today, and you have quite expressive art pieces.
Thank you.
I mean, even by looking at them, you could actually try to guess, the story behind it. Yeah, but before we go into, how your artwork has transcended into other areas of life. Let's talk about some of the pieces that we have here with us. Let me tell you what comes to mind when I see this artwork before us here, yeah? It is a woman's brain. She looks like a religious leader because with the cross, right? With so much going on in her mind. Like it's like a spiral web of too many things. And maybe an evil, maybe this is like a representation of a dark evil coming to encroach her mind. Tell me I'm right or wrong.
I don't think there's right or wrong.
Okay.
There's just opinions and perspectives.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so for me, it was just a portrait of a friend. I tried to project her as some powerful woman with class and elegance. The section part of the head is in a bid to reel in my audience into the painting, so that the moment you can relate to what my subject is, you complete the rest of the head. So that's like giving Alvin the identity so that you become a participant in the work as well.
So you're drawing me in.
To participate.
So it's easy for me to just easily relate to the artwork. I really like it. Now tell me the symbolism here of this.
That's a raven, and ravens are known to be messenger birds. So this one is carrying a message, and also being a powerful person, typically you would have minions and people who deliver your messages, and that's what the raven represents. So like I said in my bio, my works employ a lot of metaphors. So you see little tiny elements in my works. They all mean something. They are significant for a reason. And the pipes are a metaphor for our interconnectedness as humans.
And how they influence our minds.
In our minds, how we influence our decisions, and our actions have a way of ripple effects on other people as well.
Oh, so. Lovely. I love where your mind is right now. I want to get into it and just apart. Now let's talk about this one. Hey, Olga, let me tell you first. This the toilet one with the snake, right? It reminds me of a particular trend recently on Twitter, right, where, there were so many experts telling us on how to properly disinfect our toilets to avoid reptiles, getting into them. And the minute I saw that, I'm like, what? Please, what were you thinking when you were creating this particular art piece?
Primarily, the work speaks to bad governance in Africa in general, and the decadent state of our politics in Nigeria, in other parts of Africa as well. The broken toilet seats is a metaphor for how the system is so bad. And the snakes coming out of the water closet basically talk about the hydra nature of the corrupt eggs that we have in the system. So you cut one off, and then it grows more, and that's why you have like some of it cut down, and then the smoke is like the toxicity that the system emits. And there's the figure that is there is a puppet, is a puppet, and there are strings attached to it. The 30 is symbolic for the length of years that Godfathers spend controlling the system of governance. And obviously the no input signal also talks about how they control the media to an extent, to a very large extent. So they also have, and whoever controls the media controls the narrative. The world, exactly. So and that's what the angle that I was coming from with this art.
Oh, okay. And then the bird symbolism?
Yes, so there are ravens as well. I like to use ravens a lot in my works. So some people might consider them evil, but I see them as messenger birds. They're just birds that deliver news, regardless of what it is. It could be bad news, it could be good news. So here they are like the minions as well that these godfathers employ in, scouring for information and then also delivering like
disseminating that information. Great. You've been doing this for over 10 years, and you went professionally 5 years ago. Yes. What has been your most iconic artwork? that you can say, this one, I put my body and sweat and tears and blood into it?
Joke's on you. That's the piece.
Okay.
It was really symbolic for not just myself, but it was an emblem of commonality for the entire Nigerian youth. It went viral during the NSAS protests.
That came to mind.
Yeah, so it was that symbolic. And for me, it took the power off my hands and it gave the power to the average Nigerian youth that feels helpless, that feels hopeless. So it was like a symbol of truth at that time when everything was clogged with a lot of lies and biases from the media. And that is why Joke's on You is my most symbolic piece so far.
Great. I'm seeing quite a few artwork here, like the one with the dog, and is someone working out? It just went past it now. You have what's that? Okay, tell me about that one. The lady with the dog head. What's that about? Tell me about it.
That one starts with my news as a tag. It's
Your
Fendi.
news has a tag.
It's Fendi.
Okay.
So there I was talking about the struggles of the average woman.
Okay.
And how she carries herself with elegance and panache, even though the society is trying to put her down. And I was trying to show how there's a lot of things to be depressed about, especially for the black woman. But she manages to find a way to come out of every situation shining and, still carrying her pride about her. So the news aspect
Around
of the
her
work
neck,
here is like what society is trying to stifle her with. But rather, she has chosen to see the good side of that, and she has worn it with pride. Like, okay, whatever it's going to be, I'm going to wear my news with pride, and that's why my news has got a tag. It's Fendi.
Yeah, but you know that this could be sort of misinterpreted, right? Because I'm looking at it now, and that's not what's on my mind. That's not what's in my head right now. I mean, we already know what a dog symbolizes in the female form, right?
Yeah.
So when I say it, I'm like,
Okay, so...
That's a bad. Yeah, that's what comes to mind.
So,
okay, go ahead.
There are several instances where I've used the dog head to depict certain things. It's called anthropomorphism, which is personification.
Anthropomorphism. Yeah,
so it's a technique that's used even in our Yoruba folklore, whereby we use animals to represent like humans. So in this instance, there are certain attributes that are significant or that are specific to these animals. So for a dog, society might refer to it as promiscuity, being a bad bitch and all of that. But also, there's also something beautiful about dogs as well. They are territorial. They fend for their own. You don't come near a dog. And there's a piece where I also used one to, I called it Mami, my defender, where I was talking about motherhood as well. It was also a dog head, but I was talking about the territorial nature of a woman and how she will protect her own thing.
By all means.
By all means.
Quickly, I need us to talk about art in medicine. You've done this for a while now. That's a project that you're volunteering for, and you talk about arts as an expression and a tool for change. Quickly, tell us the impact your art has made, in the lives of, some of these victims and patients that you go to visit through your foundation.
So, Art Medicine Project and Fellowship was founded by Kunle Adewale, and I was one of the pioneering members at the time. The major aim of the foundation, of the fellowship, is to create a mixture between medical professionals and artists in order to bridge the gap between quality healthcare service in Nigeria, basically, and also using art to administer care to people who are disabled. So yeah, there are different ways in which we brought this dream to life. it didn't stop with visual arts. We worked with dancers, we worked with performing artists, musicians, and all of that. So for patients who are mobile, we would engage them in like dance and art, visual arts.
Nice.
For those who are immobile, we'll do what we call bedside music therapy, where we'll just have like a band, an orchestra playing while in the hospital space. And we've seen firsthand how this impacts these patients mentally. We've worked with the mental health, with different mental health facilities. We've worked with pediatric units, oncology units. We've worked with also geriatrics, people in the old people's home as well. So we've seen the first-hand impact of how art influences dementia patients and other patients struggling with
I am in awe of your work and your entire being. You are fantastic and you are amazing, and I pray that you keep being a gift to the world. Thank you so much for sharing, some of that gift with us. We really appreciate you. All right, we have to go on a quick break now, people. Wake Up Nigeria continues in a bit. Stay with us.
Now, as promised, we've not had a bad one today. It's been one of the great breakfast show episodes that we bring you.
It is, and that's the way every episode is. Welcome to the second lap of the show. It's great to have you.
Back-to-back hits. Yeah. It's my birthday month, so I'm very excited.
Okay.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yes,
August.
You should be.
Leo. I do that thing I did.
Leo.
Yes, I am a lioness within, and we appreciate it when you do what you can to make sure that lion or lioness in you comes alive every single morning.
Okay, so there's still more to come this morning. There's quite a whole lot. We've had art display. Of course, we've had birthday shout-outs. There's quite a lot more. My name is Mike Messi-Keno.
And I'm Titilayo Oyinson. You can stream this show live, tvcentertainment.tv, or on Facebook at TVC Connect. You can also catch us on GOTV channel 27 and UHF channel 49.
The app available on Android and iOS is also one way to catch us. Also, tvcentertainment.tv, and on YouTube you can catch our episodes.
So when it comes to music, we haven't forgotten that. All right.
So talking about stocks, yesterday I went on one of those apps. We have the popular one now. And I was looking through the options. Okay. And because right now, America, almighty America,
things are happening,
is currently experiencing recession. It makes you question if it's the right time to buy stocks or not. And then there are also people, of course, who would, feed your, try to feed your decisions, in that regard. Okay, I think this is the best time to buy because, now they're cheaper, so it's better you can buy more.
Yeah, sure.
Then,
which is why you need books like what Nathaniel has put together. It gives you a guide on what and what not to do, and it'll be really insightful to find out his angle on things. But the truth is, a lot of people are assuming that the money issues in Nigeria are all just because of Nigeria. Now, there is America is on the edge of recession. It's also
officially, as at last Friday, that's officially gone into
the war in Ukraine has also affected things all over the world.
So yeah, but to pay our own is extreme.
Well, we feel it when we deal.
No, there's not that we feel it. So you look, yes, due to the war and everything. You're talking about one of the top suppliers of oil and all of that. Yeah. We should not be in this state. We should be almost as influential as those guys because of what they are doing, because of what we have. My point is that if we were well managed, we should be on top of the situation. We shouldn't be, and all of that, the way it's happening. And, it hits the basic, when you bring it down, it hits the common man. Things don't come down in Nigeria.
It goes up.
They don't. So even if we do, so there's that talk of, okay, we're in recession. Then someone says, you go to the market woman on the street and she says, oh, okay, fuel is up, this is up, we're in a recession, and then she takes the price up. And then something happens. Okay, indices, it starts coming down.
Yeah.
It doesn't go down. You don't see it
in the market.
In the market.
Yes,
you don't see it. Because there's no, you look at it, regulation is one very hard thing in this industry.
It doesn't even exist.
In developed countries, there is regulation around commerce.
Yeah.
So when you have, so commerce is regulated. So you can come out and say, okay, you cannot, not only, so for instance, like you see with petrol, fuel, and then there's a pump price. There's regulation with commerce in developed countries, in other sectors. So you have that, but yeah, you don't have regulation. So in that way, somebody can just come to there and say, there's bromate in bread, and bread has gone up. It will not come down.
How it affects the common man. I remember when plantain.
Oh, wow.
When we were just told that plantain, 5 sticks of it is 500 naira. And then they were saying that, it's because, there was dry season, there are no rains, there's no harvest, everything is just dry. Okay, so let's just give it time.
Wow.
Now, 5 sticks is 1,000 naira. And it's not coming down.
I wanted to make a video yesterday. I was in traffic and I said, let me pass time in traffic. This is enter traffic. About Pekere. You know those long ones?
Oh my God.
So when I lose the line was so long, the line but the major line is just the head. Oh, they tied it down, and you see, it was 3.5 sticks. One very long 100 naira. I said, so I told the guy, I remember, so do you have to 100 naira? I want to ask, did you make mistake? It's 100 naira only I asked for. It's not 20 naira.
It's enough to bring a tear to your eyes.
And the quickly was...
So we're laughing about it now, but there are a lot of adjustments people need to make, and hopefully you won't need to make any adjustments and take an umbrella today. Let's show you the weather.
Oh my God.
Hello there, good to see you again. You're watching the news on Wake Up Nigeria, and we absolutely appreciate it. I am Kelly Egiga. We're staying with the security situation in the country, where the activities of terrorists in the past few weeks have made many Nigerians be living in fear of the unknown. And the question on the lips of Nigerians is, just when will insecurity in the country end? And as the search for the answer to that question continues, the leadership of the Senate on Wednesday held a closed-door session with heads of security agencies over the disturbing trend of insecurity in the country. Now, during the meeting, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, described the situation as frightening, stating that a lot more needs to be done. He said the worrying situation has caused a sharp decline in the economy as the country is unable to attract foreign direct investment, and the oil sector is failing due to oil theft. In his response, the Chief of Defense Staff said issues of security must be seen from a collective perspective, as the military remains committed to finding a lasting solution. He insists a lot has already been done to ensure they improve on the security architecture of the country, and no stone will be left unturned in ensuring the safety of lives and properties of Nigerians. Meanwhile, security agencies in the Federal Capital Territory will soon get new operational vehicles, gadgets, security accessories and equipment to enhance their duty of keeping Nigerians safe and securing the nation's capital. This week's Federal Executive Council meeting, chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari, approved these procurement for security agencies and a memo that will make Nigeria the maritime hub of West and Central Africa. TVC News correspondent Femi Akonde has more.
The decision of the Federal Executive Council to approve the procurement of operational vehicles, equipment and communication gadgets for security agencies in the FCT will no doubt complement ongoing efforts to repel the advancement of armed groups, terrorists and bandits into the capital city. But the Minister of FCT says this is just part of periodic support to security agencies and insists there is no cause to panic, as security operatives are working round the clock to keep citizens safe.
A few days ago in this very hall, the relevant security agencies gave you a very comprehensive briefing of all the issues, but what I can just add here is that there is tremendous effort by all to make sure that Abuja continues to be a safe haven for all of us.
For the Ministry of Transport, a memo was approved for a public-private partnership arrangement for the development of the Badagry Deep Sea Port. The port will be concessioned for a period of 45 years.
At the end of the concessionary period, the port reverts to the federal government of Nigeria through the Nigerian Ports Authority. The project cost, as contained and approved in Council based on the final business case as approved by the ICRC in line with extant laws, stood at $2.59 billion.
Council also approved a policy memo that defines the framework for the institutionalization of the practice of monitoring and evaluation. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says this will improve the well-being of citizens and promote good governance.
The policy defines a framework for the institutionalization of the practice of M&E to promote good governance, learning, and accountability for results that will contribute to improve socio-economic development of the country and enhance the well-being of citizens.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo virtually attended this week's Federal Executive Council meeting for the first time after undergoing a surgical operation at a private hospital in Lagos. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, thank you for staying with us. That was a performance, of course, to kickstart your Thursday, and it's time for tech. And today, the world revolves around programming, so much so that a number of people have been asking, how do we get into this? You know, maybe as a kid, or how do your kids get into it? In case you think maybe you are too old to program, but hey, come on, Programming for Beginners, a guide to starting out as a programmer. Marian Azora is our guest today. She's a software programmer via using Python language. It's great to have you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Why is that language called Python? What's it with the Python? Why Python? Why the name?
Different programming languages have different weird names. So.
But is there any link to the animal, or
no?
It's just the name, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. So you are a software developer, and a lot of the world now runs around software. So there is a need for programming. Now I know that a lot of things have been made easier. You know, before you had to maybe design, if you wanted to design a flyer or something, you'd have to maybe use CorelDRAW, Go and all that. But now with Canvas or other applications, it's easier. The back end, there's a lot that has been done so that the front end is easy for you.
Yeah.
But for somebody who wants to get into programming, maybe let's start from an adult who maybe has been into a profession, and then you feel like, okay, I want to learn into programming or something. How do you start up? How do you get into it?
Okay. First of all, it's not difficult for anyone to get into programming. Anyone can start somewhere. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm so old, I can't program anymore. It's not true. And you don't have to have a computer science degree to...
You don't have to?
No, you don't have to.
So if I can carry my animal husbandry degree and say I want to program,
yes.
How do I go about it? Where do I start?
Well, as you said, the internet has provided us with a lot of tools. You have to know how to use your internet, and you have to be determined. A lot of people start something and they don't finish, and that's the problem. But when you're committed to something, you see yourself doing it. So for programming, you just have to have a focus, know where you're going to, know what you want to start with, like basic HTML, CSS, understand the rudiments of programming, and you're on the right
These
track.
rudiments, yeah. So what is the basic knowledge? So you mentioned HTML, so maybe someone might not know exactly what HTML means and all of that. Do I need to, so for instance, you want to do medicine, you know that maybe you have to, biology, you have to be quite good at biology.
Yeah.
You want to, you understand?
Yeah.
So what are the basic subjects that somebody maybe needs some level of, you know, affinity, or what subjects you need to have an affinity for you to start programming? Okay,
so that's another thing. Some people think you have to be really good at mathematics before you start programming, but that's not true. That's not true.
So what do I need to...
So the HTML actually means hypertext markup language. It works with what you see on your front end of the website. That's the visuals and everything. And the CSS is cascading style sheets. It works with aligning things, putting the color in place and all of that. So if HTML is not really core programming, it doesn't work for the back end. It doesn't show what's the website. It doesn't work with functionalities. It only works with the front end, what you see on the website. Okay. So, and HTML is pretty easy to understand. Yes, it's easy to learn.
So you don't need maths. You just, so are you saying that I just need basic comprehension skills?
Exactly.
I just need to know how to comprehend. Now for kids, yeah, as maybe a parent who wants to start up a kid, I want to get them into deep programming, I want to get them to, you know, get very advanced and all of that. How do you go about it? What should you expose them to?
Okay, so this is actually a very interesting question because I teach kids programming weekends virtually, yes. Okay. I have some people from Lekki British that I teach and other schools. So it's very easy to teach a child. than to teach an adult because, yes,
Okay.
it is because an adult wants to jump the gun. Like, you have to tell an adult, you have to start, like, with baby steps before you get to where you are. But an adult wants to get there. But then a child is very curious. So, and I use simple terms to teach children. The first class I had with them, they were really confused. What's coding? My parents want me to learn coding. And I made them understand that it's just like your everyday life, the basic things you do. Programming is just like making a cup of tea. First of all, you have to learn. You have to understand, okay, how do I make a cup of tea? You have to boil water. You have to get your Milo. You have to get your milk. You have to mix them in. So coding works with processes.
What if it's cold tea? I don't want to boil water. Just want
exactly. It's still a process. It's still a process. If it's cold water, then you already know you need water. Whether it's cold or hot. Then you know you need the other things. It could be your tea. It could be your Milo and milk. Then you just mix them and then you arrive at the cup of tea. So before you start coding, I tell the kids, you have to go through this process. I actually tell them, if you want to develop something that has to do with cartoons, which is something that interests children a lot, okay, you have to develop a website that shows you your favorite anime, that shows you your favorite cartoon. How do you start? Okay, first of all, you have to get all the cartoons that you like. You have to know what the cartoon talks about. Then, if you have all these requirements, you can now say, okay, I have all the requirements I need. How do I now start? Which is where the HTML comes into place. They start by positioning objects.
So HTML is a language that the computer can understand and put out stuff out there, right?
It's just that basically the Wake Up Nigeria you're seeing is HTML.
Okay.
There is no functionality behind. There is nothing that you can click. It's not... The example of functionality I'm talking about, you want to make a payment online and you need to, the payment system understands that you have a card and it has to make a debit. That is working with the back-end code. But then what you're seeing that has nothing that you're doing was with HTML and CSS.
It's a front-end code. So, so for the kids now, though, so let's round up with this here. How long does it take to, maybe a basic programmer, how long, what's the duration? How long do you think somebody has to spend? What are the requirements as per maybe the system? What do you need? Can you program with your phone? What are the requirements?
Okay, so for example, Python works on some phones. As long as you have like a very big RAM in your phone, it works with your phone. So, but if you're using a laptop, you just need a small laptop and the software doesn't take much space. So you can just download it and start. And also, I don't know, I want to say something to some people listening. I feel like there are people that tell you programming is really difficult. I have to have an IQ of 150 and above before that's not true because prior to being a software developer, my parents wanted me to study medicine. So before I got into computer science, not knowing how to use Microsoft Word. So I had to learn from scratch. And it was amazing.
There you are.
Here I am.
Okay, we'll talk more, we'll explore this more, but thank you for that introductory class.
Thank you very
we'll
much.
see you next. All right, thank you. Hope you're able to pick something there. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to have all of that. You can just start from where you are. Just maybe even a phone, you can start programming. That's all we can take on tech this morning. We'll take this step out now. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, it's our book chat.
Hello and welcome back. Now, for those of you who have probably connected with us right here on Wake Up Nigeria, you know we're all about book chat on Thursdays. And today we have the special honor of welcoming someone who's been here as a chef, also on our book chat segment today, the amazing Nathaniel Disu, who we saw grow into an amazing chef, has also grown into an amazing investment enthusiast, financial market analyst, and author. Here to review his book, The Stock Market Millionaire, a book with insights into how the stock market works. Welcome back to the show, Nathaniel.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
All right, so I'm looking at your shirt, and it says here, how to retire young and rich.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the way.
Yes.
When did this whole journey begin with the stock market?
Okay, it's actually began in 2020.
Oh, okay.
Just around when COVID happened. Okay. So I've always known about the stock market since university days, but I've just known it on a basic level that, okay, stock market is where some people invest their money, but I've not gone deep into it. So when COVID happened 2 years ago, so one of my friends that we do things together he attended a program in church where they talked about stuff. So he just told me that, guy, there are some stocks available now, let's buy. So because I didn't know about it before, so it didn't need to convince me. So as you just told me, I'm like, okay, let's get started. So that's how everything started.
So that's a journey from, okay, you have a residual knowledge about the stock market, shares, stocks, equities, and things like that, to actually investing. That's one journey. Then from there to 2 years later, putting together a book about it. How long did it take you to put the book together?
To be honest, it took me about, I think, a few weeks.
Okay.
A few weeks, so that was around 2020 to 2021. Okay. So the book officially launched in January 2021.
So this is a book that sort of journals your experiences while investing and the mistakes you made. Why did you think you had to put this together?
Okay, so when I started out investing in the US stock market, as a Nigerian, I didn't see any material that shows how Nigerians can invest in the US stock market.
Okay.
Because it's looked as something foreign. Like, even till now, there's some people that don't believe that you can invest in the US stock market. So after researching, I didn't see, the only books that I could see were those written by Americans. And we know that at times, it's not really easy to understand. So there was no book written by a Nigerian that shows Nigerians how to invest in the US stock market.
Okay.
So, and when I was going through my journey, there was no really, I couldn't see people I could model. So I was like, okay, fine. Since I'm in this situation, there will be other people in this situation. So let me document everything I know about the stock market, my own personal experience and what I know. So that's what came about the book.
So, of course, you're young and rich, and you decided to make it an ebook. So am I connecting this right? You made it an ebook because you wanted to connect with the youth?
Yes, both ways. So I actually did it as an ebook to make it easier for people to download, to make it easier for people to purchase and easily read. Because nowadays, even though there's this, like say, I'll not really call it big, but ebook and physical copies, there are some people that are just comfortable reading on their iPad or something. So like, okay, let me make it to be an ebook so people can easily get it.
Let's go into the content of the book. Now, the content of the book, I flipped up to a page that said The Greedy Bull, and the Greedy Bull, and you mentioned greed, fear. You also mentioned quite a lot of other things. Let's talk about these animal references when it comes to the stock market.
Okay, so the animal references, that is more like the language of the stock market. So animals are used to reference people's behavior in the stock market. So a bull is some ways optimistic about the market, that, okay, things are going to go up, prices are going to go up. While a bear is some ways pessimistic, like things are going to go down. So there are different animals that depict people's behavior, because the stock market is all about emotions, all about people's psychology. So how they behave, how different investors behave, how different traders behave, that's how animals are used. So there's something that is called a pig. Like, so there's a saying that bears make money, bulls make money, but pigs usually get slaughtered, in the sense that a pig would just want to be eating. So there are some people that they just want to be piling up profit, and they don't know when to take their profits or when to diversify their investment and everything. So with that, if you get too greedy, you get slaughtered. So that's where the whole animal concept came from.
So there are some movies out there that people can watch, you know, in reference to this, like The Wolf of Wall Street, which explains another animalistic behavioral tendency when it comes to the stock market. But there is this thing about Nigerians where they're kind of averse to risk. Now, as a young person, how were you able to get over this issue of risk when you were starting your journey?
Okay, so like I said at the beginning, I'd already known about the stock market. So I knew that it's not something that, because Nigerians, when an average Nigerian hears the word investment, people are always skeptical. And that is because people have been burnt with different investment technique or scheme before. So when you're investing in the stock market, you know that it's a long-term game. It's not something that you put your money now and after a few weeks or maybe a few months, like, Alpha, how much am I making now? So that's not if you want to make money, know that you get a skill or you have a job to make money. But investment is a long-term thing. So it's not something that you have a 3-month mindset that you want to cash out within 3 months. That's not how it works. It's a long-term process. And you are not investing in, let's say, abstract things. You're actually investing in companies actual companies that run, and companies take time. You can't just have a company and within 2 months that's already gone to $1 billion capitalization. Apple is over 30-something or before something years old now, so it takes time. So if a company can take time before it actually grows well, you should not expect your investment to just start and tomorrow you just want to.
So I really have to appreciate the effort that you put into this. I'm scrolling through now and I can see common trading terminologies. You sort of broke it down in a layman's terms. But I have to ask who you feel should be reading this book.
Okay, anybody that has planned for financial independence should read that book. Because also, if someone that wants to know about where they can invest their money into, because that's one of the questions people ask nowadays, where do I put my money into? People don't want to get scammed anymore. People don't want to put their money in something that they are not sure would give them return. So the stock market is something that has been existing since almost forever. So it's something that has been tested time and time again. The stock market is similar to the world economy. That's how trade happens. That's how the economy grows and something. So and also the U.S. stock market is the largest financial market in the world. So everything revolves around the U.S. economy. Now the U.S. economy is in recession. Every other country is affected. The UK is affected. Even Nigeria is also affected. So this is something that people can also consider. And since it's a dollar market, let me put it that way, so it's another way to invest your money in a, let's say, stronger or higher currency that helps protect your investment. Well,
the truth is the dollar is a stronger currency and a lot stronger these days than it was even 2 years ago. So it does feel logical to maybe diversify, think about different things. But you do get very technical. Did you ever have any worries that you might lose people's attention when you start talking about things like NASDAQ or Dow or S&P? You started talking about those eventually, and I'm like,
Okay, so the thing is that's why at the beginning I actually broke everything down and gave the concept. But no matter how well you want to break things down, there are some terminologies that you still have to use because that's the language of the market. That's the language of the market. So there's no way you'd be investing in the stock market and you have no idea what the NASDAQ is. So the NASDAQ is simply a market indices that caters to the tech-based companies. And thankfully, we just had tech discussion. So tech-big companies, that's where you have the Amazon, the Apple, the Google, and the Facebook. So there's no way you would be investing and you have no knowledge about that. So that's just like the basic terminology. The Dow is where you have the, let's say, traditional companies like the banks, the airlines, and everything. While the S&P 500, so that's more like the exclusive part of the market. That's where you have the top 500 companies of this. So when you have this basic knowledge, it helps you to know what to look out for. So these are just like market indices. For example, looking at the entertainment industry, for example, in Nigeria, singers. So we have different artists in different genre and everything. So if you want to classify this, you have the pop, you have the reggae, you have the Afrobeat. So in a way, that's how the market is. So if you want to look at how the Afrobeat market is, you look at Nigeria. If you want to look at how the R&B or pop, you look at America. So that's similar. If you want to look at the reggae market, you don't come to Nigeria and be looking for the reggae market. You go to Jamaica. So that's how the stock market is. If you want to look at how tech is faring, you don't look at the Dow because that's not where tech-based companies is. You look at the NASDAQ. So if you want to look at how the overall market is faring, the top guys, you look at the S&P 500. So that's how. So if someone wants to check the health of the economy or the U.S. stock market, you look at the indices because these indices are a reflection of how the market operates.
You have no idea how I'm looking at you like this with fresh eyes because I'm so used to seeing you in another light. But having you explain all this, and I'm beginning to understand why you decided to put the book together. There's a lot of knowledge to share out there and a lot of reasons why people can be pulled out of poverty, even if, it does seem like a slippery slope, that has been going on of recent. Now, Nathaniel, I'm really pleased that it's an ebook, but are you going to be printing this anytime soon?
I'm going to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be.
Because I feel like it should be on our shelf somewhere here.
Okay. This is my family, so
I can't wait. But so now, do you truly believe that it's possible for the average Nigerian, I'm using the word average Nigerian, to retire young and rich, legitimately?
Sure. Okay, yes, legitimately is the key word there. So right now we are in the tech-based, we're in the tech world, we're in the knowledge industry. So back in the days, retirement seemed like you have to work for, let's say, 40 years and wait till you're 60, 70 before you now retire. That's how our parents live, that's how our grandparents live. But now the economy has already changed, things have already changed. We're now in the knowledge industry whereby someone who has knowledge can share that knowledge and you make money out of it. So there are digital skills people can learn that makes it easier for them to make money legitimately. So there are some things you can do. You can write courses online. You can, like my ebook now. So maybe, okay, I've been on the show as a chef. So maybe someone as a chef, you know things about food. You can compile some maybe recipe book, put it out there online, maybe 1,000 naira or 500 naira, and people buy it. So if you put it for 1,000 naira and 1,000 people buys that book, that's already 1 million naira. So it's easier. So there are, let's say, faster lanes to get your financial status easier than the traditional 9-to-5 or the traditional economic system.
Thank you so much for coming to talk to us about this book, The Stock Market Millionaire. We can see that you are well on your way, Nathaniel. I'm loving the book. I'm loving what you've put together, and I have to say thank you.
Thank you
for putting this together.
Thank you.
Now, the team, Mike and are in the kitchen right now, and they're probably wondering why Nathaniel is on this side of the room and not over there.
No, Titi, it's okay.
How's it going?
Okay. It's okay. Come, it's okay. I actually, this discussion needed 5 more minutes because I felt like you had more things to ask, Titi. We just have given you more time. We're enjoying it.
Well done, Nathaniel. Well done. I'm sure that a lot of people watching actually have so much to learn. We have to go right now, people. It's been such an impactful show, Mike.
Yeah, it has. It has been a wonderful show. And Nathaniel, the last time you saw him here, he was definitely in the kitchen. I was asking him, Papa, you've lost all the passion for cooking. What's happening?
Why you are making money from stock?
He does not know the difference between salt and sugar now. all you see is bull and bear.
Yes.
But hey, it's been a wonderful show. Thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Bye.